A desert planet with twin suns.
They call themselves the Bad Batch. We do what we do.
What else you got? Give me more!
Welcome back to Twin Sun Talks, folks, and another Bad Batch review and breakdown. We are coming to you live from Sapphire, North Carolina. So if y'all hear anything in the background, we're just in a house with a bunch of families, so I can't really get away from that. We got Jeb on today to help us out with this breakdown. Jeb, how you doing?
Pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if you never heard of Sapphire, North Carolina.
Wouldn't either. And also, if the audio sounds kind of weird, that's because we're both on the same mic this time. And I don't really know. I don't have any other equipment to go with, so we're just done. I'm really tired, so if I sound a little tired, that's why. But excited to get this to you. Let's go straight into I Have Spoken.
I have spoken.
So, per the usual, we're going to be going into our non-spoiler review, followed by our full spoiler breakdown, followed by full spoiler review, and then some theories about the series going forward. So this is going to be over episode 10 of The Bad Batch, called Common Ground. And so we're going to start with our non-spoiler review. So, plot-wise, this episode doesn't advance too much at all. Character development-wise, this episode was excellent. We get some great growth for some underdeveloped people, and I'm all here for it.
Very true.
Yeah, that plus the episode being absolutely visually stunning, which isn't anything new, made this a nice change of pace from the action-packed episodes that were kind of chaotic the last few weeks. So that's about all I can say. This was a bit of a slower episode, even though there was action involved. But
you have to learn more about different new places.
Exactly, yeah. So that was super, super interesting. That's about all that I feel like I can say without spoiling too much from it. So if you haven't watched this yet, go ahead and stop this episode right now. It'll still be here whenever you finish. But the rest of this episode will have significant spoilers, complete full spoilers for the rest of the episode. So spoiler. Let's get into it. So,
spoiler.
Yes. We open on the planet Raxus, and this is the Separatist capital during the Clone Wars, and civilians have gathered to hear the address over the Imperial occupation, and instead of complying, the Senator Avi Singh speaks out against the occupation and is detained. He's arrested. In order to disperse the growing unrest in the crowd following this, the Imperial sends in some ATTE tanks to restore order. Jeb, do you remember what ATTE stand for?
Extraterrestrial.
Nope.
What?
ATET.
Oh, all-terrain.
ATTE.
All-terrain tactical
Enforcers. All-terrain tactical enforcers are what they're called, and those are the six-legged tanks.
Extraterrestrial.
That were utilized by the Republic during the Clone Wars. So it's kind of cool to see those in action on the Imperial side. Senator Singh's protocol droid GS-8 slips away to contact someone and inform them that her master needs rescuing. Back on Ord Mantell, Hunter says that the Bad Batch needs to take things a bit slower after everything that happened with Omega being kidnapped. And subsequently, Sid has a job for them, which is rescuing Senator Singh on Raxus. And Hunter dismisses it out of hand, saying that they don't help separatists. But Sid reminds him of the debt they owe her. And then Hunter comes back and says he doesn't want to bring Omega to an imperially occupied planet, whereas Sid offers to keep an eye on her while they're on the job. And Omega isn't super happy about this arrangement.
Kind of sus.
What do you mean?
Kind of sus that Sid wants that Sid is.
I mean, Sid says, she's like, well, it's in my best interest to keep her safe because y'all are like doing work for me. So yeah. I don't think it's all that sus. But Omega isn't super happy about this, but she complies. The Bad Batch goes to Raxus. Echo is complaining about having to rescue a separatist because he was a little more directly involved, and also keep in mind that he was experimented on by the separatists and exploited by the separatists. So you can understand why he has a little extra resentment there. They meet, they encounter an air patrol as they enter the planet's atmosphere and have to trust that the clearance codes given by their client aren't fraudulent. The clearance codes go through, and they land. They're met by GS-8, the protocol droid, and are taken aback that they're working for a droid. Back at Sid's pub, Omega is moping around, and Sid tells her that if she wasn't so helpless, then maybe the Bad Batch wouldn't leave her behind, and Omega doesn't take super kindly to this, as most people wouldn't. Back on Raxus, GS8 takes them to Senator Singh's residence, which is heavily guarded, but the Bad Batch, first of all, the Bad Batch is explicitly wary about working with separatists, but at the end of the day, they take out the surveillance and infiltrate the facility. Back on Ord Mantell and Sid's pub, Sid is playing Dejarik with some of the people in the pub with her. And so Dejarik is the holographic board game that we see Chewbacca and R2-D2 playing in A New Hope on the Millennium Falcon, where with the iconic line, where C-3PO says, "Let the Wookiee win," because Wookiees rip people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. But anyways, Omega gives Sid a strategy which she initially ignores, but it ends up helping her win. And so Sid enlists Omega to help her play for some money. Back on Raxus, after taking out numerous regs, the Bad Batch rescues Senator Singh just before he is to be tortured by Imperials. Whenever they're infiltrating the facility, Hunter includes Omega in his plans, and only to remember that Omega isn't there with them. And so the Bad Batch makes their escape with the Senator and his droid commandeering an ATTE to do so, and they are pursued by Imperials, and their walker is dismantled. Hunter and Wrecker take out full battalions of clones. Maybe not battalions, platoons. I don't remember the metrics for each of these, but where was I? While Tech and Echo fix the walker, when the ATTE is operational again, the Empire is in hot pursuit. But Senator Singh leads them to a secret passage, and the Bad Batch must trust him and that he's not leading them into a trap. So they make their escape through the secret passage and get back to the Marauder. But Senator Singh is having second thoughts about escaping, saying that he can't abandon his people, where Echo steps in and implores him to live to fight another day. So they go back to Ord Mantell, and they find Omega amidst a large crowd watching her win Dejarik over and over and over again. And Hunter is initially mad about this because she didn't keep a low profile. But after receiving a scolding from Sid and some of the other members of the team, he realizes that she actually earned enough credits to pay off their debt to Sid. So Hunter resolves to play her in a game of Dejarik for the right to essentially never have to sit out on missions ever again. So that's the end of this episode. I'll give my thoughts and then I'll let Jeb hop in. Despite the action, there's not too much development for the plot that happens, like I said earlier, but I do enjoy the dynamics where we get to see the quote-unquote common ground, as the title of the episode implies, between those who used to be on opposing sides of the war, and Echo's grumpy old man vibe was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed Omega's storyline, and I think that that's really going to solidify her as more of a legitimate and respected member of the team. I also enjoy seeing Imperial occupations and the general unrest that they cause on some worlds. Jeb, any thoughts?
You really covered everything, but I thought that it was a really good episode because I kind of forgot about the episode that we see what's it called?
Raxus?
Raxus on, because I've only watched it once, I think.
Yeah, so in the Clone Wars, episode. It's the heroes on both sides wherever we meet Mina and Lux spawn Terry for the first time. Whenever the Padme and Ahsoka are trying to essentially call a ceasefire between the Republic and Confederacy of Independent Systems, and they almost succeed, but then there's a little wrench thrown in. So those are really cool episodes of the Clone Wars. I don't think that those were marked as mandatory or even heavily recommended on my roadmap, but I would recommend it's heroes on both sides and then that whole arc. But yeah, anything else to say?
Not really.
Okay, cool. Let's move into visions then.
To continue, we need one singular vision. My vision.
Gotta say, I really don't have much. There's not much to theorize, not much that was confirmed or debunked in this episode. Not much to go out off of in the future, but the best that I could come up with was perhaps we'll see Bail Organa sometime in the future because we saw Senator Singh, so maybe there's a little tie in there.
Because we haven't seen what they've done with Senator Singh, so there might be...
Exactly. So we're not entirely sure what's going on, but they did mention that other senators had been arrested, so maybe there's a little bit of, kind of common ground, as the title implies, between the old separatist senators and the previous Republic senators who don't agree with the Empire.
It would be interesting to see where Bail Organa went after episode.
I mean, he was just on Alderaan.
He was just on Alderaan, but
he was still in the Imperial Senate, but
but he probably didn't agree.
Well, no, he didn't. That's why he's working for the rebellion. But that was just kind of in secret.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Leia was in the Imperial Senate too.
Yeah.
Remember? That's like the first thing we learned.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
her.
I know that she was
a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away. But
yeah.
But I honestly just have nothing for this episode. Like, it was really good, but just there's nothing super plot wise that's gone on. I hope that we see Crosshair again soon.
Yeah. And see that Mace Windu and Plo Koon both survive.
Yes. Well, not, but Plo's dead.
No, Plo is... I'm going to think that he is alive until I'm proven otherwise. Because we've seen... Dr. Doofenshmirtz gets blown up all the time, and he always survives.
That's a fantastic point. But, I mean, the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars is canon in my mind. But I honestly don't know. My brain's kind of foggy. I'm feeling tired. So I think that's where we're gonna end the episode. Jebby, any? Don't say it.
Don't say what?
Never mind. But do you have any thoughts?
No, not really.
Okay, cool.
I mean, this is, as you said, it's kind of a slow episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Just kind of
nothing really to say about it.
Yeah, exactly. So we got 6 episodes left.
Hope that stuff gets wrapped up.
I think that maybe we'll have one more episode kind of like this, and then it'll be pretty consistent. Boom, boom, boom. Hitting all the marks. Boom, Charlotta. Okay, well, anyways, you've taken your first steps into a larger world. May the Force be with you. Make sure that you stay tuned for our episode next week. Not sure what we're doing yet, but
it'll be something.
It will be something, and check out the website for upcoming episodes and the date that they come out. And if you haven't already, go ahead and listen to my episode over my favorite Star Wars books. It came out this past Wednesday. Anyways, yes, you've taken your first steps into a larger world. May the Force be with you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, friends.